Chat? What do you mean? Me? Oh, okay. That's fine. Got it. All right. Almost done. Hello?
Yep, I see everything. It's all good for me.
It's good. What rabbit hole are we going into? I don't know if I want to be in.
This is a very. This is not where I thought this was gonna go, but you know,
Ben's
I'm
like,
here.
all right, guys. Well, I'm out. All right. Well, Gray, I think they can't hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they can hear me and Ben, but not you.
How about now? Can they hear me now? Can they hear me now? Is it mic check 1 2?
Turn on the light. It's pretty dark in here.
Wasn't it Sprint that did those old commercials? Can you hear me now? Good.
Yeah.
Okay. A little better, right?
Yeah. All right. So we're back. We were able to Starfleet together a working podcast system or whatever, and we kind of dipped our toe into the rabbit hole conversation last week, and I had some thoughts about some stuff that I wanted to go down, like just some paths that I wanted to go down, something that I've kind of always been fascinated with, but never really talked about it. I've never done a song about it or nothing like that. But it is the assassination of JFK, and what was involved, who were involved, how it was done, what the official story is, and for a lot of people, that was such a pivotal moment in their lives. It was like their 9/11. What are your thoughts on JFK?
I've seen.
Yeah. Go
ahead, Ben.
I don't want to touch it. Go for it.
Mine's actually kind of limited. It's been a minute, but I have seen some documentaries with some conspiracy theories that seem to hold some water
Mm-hmm.
about that it might have been one of his own guys that shot him while they had someone else kind of shoot him from a distance, Lee Harvey Oswald, I think. And
Wait, an inside. Wait, you're saying somebody said it was an inside hit job?
yeah,
Interesting. No,
yeah,
I haven't heard that theory. No, I haven't heard that theory.
Like by the government? Is that what you mean? Like by inside? Or?
Well, if they're people close to him, I'm going to assume that they had jobs within the government, right? Because he pretty much worked with people in the government. But I've heard some crazy theories about that myself. And one of the theories that I heard was it was a mob hit. Is that
Interesting.
yeah, like dude had ties to the mob. The mob basically helped him get not elected, but like get money for funding and shit, and like they kind of helped like push certain things in certain ways, and unions voted his way or whatever because of like the mob. And like I said, I'm only hearing this through like hearsay and shit like that, so I have no real clue if this is actually factual or true or anything. But basically, the rumor is that he had ties with the mob that went bad, and the people he crossed or didn't pay back, or the favor he didn't give back, or whatever it was, decided to take action against him. Um, there is a. I'm gonna look up real quick some of the theories involving that. You've never heard this sci-fi?
Never. No, I thought typically the mob just kind of like roughs people up, so they can still get that return. I didn't think that they just fucking killed him, right? I
I know,
mean,
right? It would make
kind
yeah,
of
but
stupid.
it well, it depends on the situation. Like, I mean, some people, it's like it's the face that they lose or whatever embarrassment that they suffer is so great that they probably feel like, hey man, like we might have to put this dude out. I pulled up this article by the history.co.uk, so I'm assuming this is a history channel for the UK. So take that for what it is. There was an article in here, and this was posted. Fuck, doesn't say when the article was posted, or does it at the bottom? No, it doesn't. Of course not. Why would it? All right. So maybe I'll smart read it. Okay. Nope. But the title of the article says, "Did the mob kill JFK? New evidence suggests that they did." And so it's kind of a widely, at least, heard rumor about the potentiality about JFK. But then the question would be like, why the secrecy if they did know that it was a mob hit? Why all the kind of magic gun conspiracy nonsense about, whatever? But I think it might even be crazier than that. I think JFK was a dude that at that time was living a lifestyle that a lot of people probably didn't approve of. He was well known, as kind of a ladies' dude. Like and then he was, I think, very vocally religious, right? And so he was kind of living a certain type of life. And I feel like it's possible that I'm not gonna say the powers that be because that gets us into the whole Kanye territory, and I do kind of want to talk about that, but it's still interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think JFK pissed off a lot of people, and I don't know if it was a crazy dude, lone gunman at the top of a book tower who shot him while he was moving. I mean, I'm not saying that he couldn't have hit that shot. I think he could have hit that shot, but I don't believe he did. Like Jesse Ventura is a guy I really respect politically because he's one of the few people I point to and I say that's what an independent looks like, right? But he is very much on the train of the gunman couldn't have made that shot. That's an impossible shot.
Yeah.
I don't believe that that's an impossible shot. I think he could have made that shot. I think it's not a great shot, and it's unlikely that he may have done it the first time. He maybe fired like 5 or 6, 7 shots before he actually hit his target, if that's the case. But then you got to get into the question of like motive, and then like why did he just go? Why did he go to a movie theater afterwards? Like why did he just like why didn't he just disappear if he was like some covert Russian plant? Like I, it just that part of it never really added up to me.
No, it makes sense. So there was also the possibility that it could have been some strings pulled by Nixon because he was competing against JFK at the time, I think.
Mm.
And then didn't he get into office afterwards? And then, so yeah, there was all that. And then we know about the Watergate scandal. He was that kind of guy for sure.
Well, there's something else that happened too. We haven't even talked about this part. So we talked about the mob. We talked about maybe he might have pissed off somebody's husband. Here's a third factor or third possibility. He said that he wanted to break up the CIA. Didn't he?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
I mean,
I
and
heard
so
that.
if you have any questions about like what would make a motherfucker a target, is have him want to shut down like a clandestine spy organization. That's gonna make you a
He was a,
target. Like
he
if
was
you,
a big target
he
for a lot
was
of places.
for a lot of places for a lot of reasons. Somebody had said in the chat that he was also interested in unidentified aerial phenomena or UFOs. We can still call them UFOs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he did have an interest in that, and I think he's not the only president who had an interest in that. And maybe he was probing a little bit too close. Okay, here's a far out theory. What if he knew about that there was actually alien contact here on the planet and he was going to disclose that shit? And they were like, listen, bro, I don't care if you're the president. We'll fucking take you out, man.
Yeah. He
Yeah.
was too close to the rabbit's hole.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure
What
he
it's
was
called.
he was a charismatic guy. I'm pretty sure he asked questions.
Yeah, of course.
What are your kind of thoughts on that, sci-fi?
All of it?
Whatever you want to tackle.
You know what's funny is I think that, and this is my own opinion,
Mm.
I don't think it matters, personally.
Oof, I
Is
disagree.
it unfortunate that he was shot? Absolutely. But in my standpoint, and I'm going to be honest, is like there's so many different ways that it could have happened because of how many people were involved in this man's life, with all of the shitty stuff he was doing, all of the stuff he was interested in, all the that. To me, it's like I'll never actually know the truth, so I don't want to invest too much energy into something that I will physically never be able to learn. Like
Mm.
that's my perspective. I know that's probably a shitty perspective, but
Well, I mean, it's interesting for conversation. I mean, that's all I can really say.
unexpected. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
we can go in whatever direction you guys want to go. I mean, I was just trying to make,
I will say
conversation.
this. I will say this. I don't think it's who we were told it is.
I
If I
agree
could,
with that.
if I could say that, I don't think it's the story that we got. I think it's one of the other ones that you've come up with, either the mob or like an inside job, or he was getting too close to something that he shouldn't have gotten too close to. You know,
Yeah.
because the other scenarios are too, or the other scenarios seems like it's too easy, right?
I mean, it. I was just offering possibilities. I mean, honestly, I'm not. I don't really. I'm not locked on one particular story
Yeah.
or anything like that. I just thought it was something interesting.
No, it definitely is. So, what if you had to choose one? What do you think would be the closest, like, to your believable, like, state, right?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me that a political rival found some people who maybe he was on the wrong side of, and it was
Hmm.
probably an easy sell. It's like, hey, we'll pay you this, make it look like crazy person did it, and That's pretty much it.
Uh, I'm looking at. It's funny, because there's a lot more than just the ones that we've talked about. Did you know that?
Yeah, I mean, I find it pretty fascinating. I'll never know the truth, and I get that, but I won't know the truth about a lot of things. I find still pretty fascinating. Um,
There's a
I
theory that it was an accident. Did you hear that one?
no, haven't heard that one.
An accident.
Yeah, apparently that the officer lost his balance when the car suddenly braked and accidentally discharged his weapon, killing the president.
Yeah, yeah.
What do you? What if that was what this was all about? It's like this whole time, like some dude
Uh,
accidentally hit this trigger and it fucking that would suck, right?
I don't know how the hell he got that job in the first place if he's that bad with a gun.
Yeah,
That's
that,
probably unlikely, but
yeah, I wouldn't subscribe to that one.
what about the Umbrella Man? You've heard about that one, right?
I have
What?
not.
Apparently in the video somewhere, somebody in the chat could probably like elaborate on this a little more. There's some dude standing some kind of umbrella. Um, I don't know if it was like kind of time travel or something. What do you guys know about the Umbrella Man? Cosmic, you probably know something about it, right? That's an interesting theory there.
I've never heard of the Umbrella Man ever. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've never heard of that.
I will say that from the footage that I've seen and some of the conspiracy theories that I can't really verify, I do agree with the fact that it was not a shot from above from what it looks like to me. It looks like he was shot from behind when he was killed on the ground.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I haven't watched it that much. I every once in a while will come across it. It's kind of like unsettling to me, you know, when I watch it. I don't like watching people die, to be honest with you.
Understandable. So watching somebody getting killed in front of their family like that, yeah, that's pretty rough.
Then there's the number one theory that it's aliens. That's it. It's just some project, some secret alien project was the reason he was killed. So he was gonna expose Washington's alien stuff, which you guys called out earlier. So
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you want to go down the rabbit hole, I definitely think that is definitely a place to start. I think
That was around the time
when
when space technology was making its big boom and everything. So there'd probably be a lot of hidden stuff at that point in time.
yeah, no, I mean, he would be right there. I mean, who better to ask those questions than the president?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess there was something about him, right? Like he was definitely a different president than we're used to at the time, wasn't he? I don't really know because I was super young or not alive. I don't even know when that happened. I don't think I was
Yeah,
alive.
that happened in the '60s. None of us were
Yeah,
alive.
so I wasn't
Yeah.
alive. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't even see. I don't even know a whole lot about it, to be honest.
yeah,
I didn't even know it took place in Texas. That's crazy.
yeah.
I mean, not that crazy if you think about it. How old was he when he died?
Um, late.
46.
Yeah, I would say he's in his 40s.
46 years old. That's crazy, man. Fortunate.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean,
I heard he was a good president. I don't know if that's the case. Obviously it was a long time ago, but
it's hard to wade through the truth or the actual opinion of people in such a divisive society today. Like
Yeah.
somebody asked me on Twitter, they were just like, they were like, yeah, I hit you up a couple years ago, and now I'm ready to talk. It's like, are you? Do you think that there's any? Are you as hopeful as you once were, based on all the tension and division? And I was just like, hey man, we're all fucked. Find good lube.
Yeah.
Like at the end of the
I've
day,
never
it's
heard
like
that before. Hilarious.
so. We'll see.
Feel like there's always been tension, and it's actually kind of a meme. If we're talking about like how people are just divided over like partisan stuff and whatnot, just kind of everything nowadays.
Hmm.
So it's different than it used to be, but it's also always kind of been there. Like, I'm not really with it when people act like it's a completely new thing, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that actually kind of gives me hope. At least maybe I'll at least be dead by the time it all blows up. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that's the case for all of us.
Yeah.
Where is that? Oh, I can find it here.
Ah, okay. So said okay, read up about Umbrella Man. It was a sunny day, so it seemed out of place. People thought Umbrella Man could have been using his umbrella to signal something. Interesting. So he's just like carrying around an umbrella when it's sunny outside. I mean, he could have just been trying to not get burnt, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Perfectly logical explanation. That soft skin.
yeah, absolutely. Could have just been more sensitive to sunlight.
Yeah.
I think one indicative question would be what happened to Lee Harvey Oswald after they caught him? Did he just live in prison for the rest of his life? Did he have it cushy in there? Like,
No, he was killed by Jack Ruby.
was he?
Like, I think so.
Was it like pretty quickly after, or
Yeah, like 2 days afterwards.
what? Conveniently enough.
That could, yeah, that could still be
See how he
pretty
died.
sus.
Yeah. A Dallas nightclub operator? Wait a minute. What?
So Jack Ruby was?
Yeah. Just some random dude that owned a nightclub in Dallas. He was just so angry about it. He was like, you know what? I'm gonna get this guy.
Oh shit.
Yeah, don't they have film of that?
Yeah.
I think I've seen that. Pretty sure. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
There's a, that kind of brings up a subject, and I want to travel back to something I said a moment ago, because I think I said it in the wrong way. When I said I don't think it matters, I meant I don't think, to me, which one of the items it was didn't matter. I don't mean the subject doesn't matter. It's actually a really good subject because this kind of stuff happens a lot, right? Like different conspiracies, and I think that kind of shows that there's a reason that those things happen within our government. So I think it's a cool subject. I just, for me, as far as the outcome itself, what happened, I'm more curious as to why it keeps happening and why those conspiracies keep popping up, as if A, we're being lied to, or B, something else is going on, right?
Yeah, I think the JFK thing is interesting because, you know, somebody essentially at a higher position than him wanted him dead. And
Yeah.
I think the question of like who is at that higher position, um, even though he's the president of the United States, and you start asking yourself like, who wanted the president dead, other than like people who just felt like, oh, he's a political rival, I'm a loony, whatever.
Hmm.
And I just find it interesting that the leader of the quote unquote free world at the time and the most powerful nuclear arsenal available had the best security around him. And
Hmm.
according to, the main narrative, one guy was able to snipe him from a tower, from a book tower.
Yeah.
And I have always thought that that was kind of odd.
It's
And
super.
it it gets to the point where you ask yourself like, did a coup take place?
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, a coup could have taken place and somebody in another branch of government might have ordered that shit, and then now they are essentially directly running the government with their new installed, puppet leader,
Yeah.
whoever that is, right? So, I mean, I've always thought that it was something that was pretty fascinating simply because there's been a lot of things about JFK that people have questioned, the different groups that he's been a part of and the different society he's been a part of and stuff like that. Like,
Of
I've
course.
always thought that that dude's been questioned in a lot of circles about a lot of things. Him
Yeah.
dying is not the most oddest part of his life.
Yeah. Which is
Yeah.
shocking, right? Like to me, it's like the scariest part is that there seems to be someone in like if this were the case, the scenario that took place, there's someone in the government that could just wish that a president was dead and then it just happens. Like that to me is scarier. Like who would have that role? Like
Well, and both prospects are equally scary. If you're
Mhm.
telling me that at that time, a single dude could basically beat the best security in the world during a nuclear missile crisis that spanned 25 years, like,
Uh-huh.
you don't think Russia wanted JFK dead? After the
Oh, I'm
fucking,
sure they
it's
did.
like, uh, that is a dude that I'm sure a lot of people wanted dead in his political career, whether he was stepping on certain people or he was getting certain places that people felt like maybe he shouldn't be getting, because he was a younger politician.
Mhm.
Youth is dangerous in politics because the people who are kind of built into that shit, like they feel like, you know, I'm instantiated into this system. Like
Yeah.
you're not gonna come and dislodge me from that. If I gotta put you in the ground, and look, it didn't just even happen to like him. It happened to his brother,
Yeah.
Robert Kennedy, and it happened to his son.
Jeez.
Yeah.
So then you get into the like, okay, somebody wanted him dead,
Mhm.
but then somebody wanted his entire family line wiped out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Unsettling. Yeah.
Definitely does sound like you crossed someone there.
I mean,
Well,
who did he cross? Kang? Like, I'm
uh,
I'm 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 trying to figure out who you would piss off to where they're like, bro, I'm taking out every related relative of this person. Like,
yeah, that's fucked up, man. Because when you go for the whole family, you did some shit that's like bad, right?
yeah.
Like, you wonder if he's got ancestors alive today. Adam Smith says, who are his ancestors?
Also, if I was a JFK ancestor, I wouldn't tell nobody.
I wouldn't either.
That
No.
Oh
motherfucker
no.
was murdered, and his brother was murdered, and his son supposedly died in a plane crash. He was murdered. Um, you
Oh
know,
wow.
yeah, dog. I wouldn't tell nobody I was a Kennedy.
Tombstone. Yeah, I'd keep that a secret.
Yeah, Tombstone, absolutely.
That's you don't want the wrong people figuring. They're like, oh, he's got another family member alive. All right.
Yeah, we're going to see him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to see him.
See you soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see you soon, real soon. Yeah, I mean, and then you get in. I think the JFK thing opens up a few other questions because the space race took place under his watch, right? And we went
Yeah.
to the moon under his watch. And there's a lot of
A lot of
conspiracies
stuff.
about
Yeah.
if we went to the moon on, if we actually went to the moon, but if we went to the moon on his watch because there was something else going on other than just the space race. Like if there was a
Hmm.
race for something. I've heard this theory that there was a race for something on the moon.
Interesting.
Yeah, that the 60s space race was because that there were, NASA slash and or like Russian astronomers who had found something and they were like, we need to go there, and like whoever gets there first gets it or whatever it was.
Trying
Um,
to look it up so I can see
yeah,
if there was any theories as to like what it was, right?
yeah, yeah. The space race. Yeah, I'll look it up too because I was looking at it one time.
Crazy. I've never heard that one
Yeah,
before.
there was like a rare resource or something they thought was there, and so that's why they did it. It had nothing to do with just beating them
Getting to
to
space,
space.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with that. I would say it's super likely that maybe there was some kind of new, you know, what is it? Fucking resource. Yeah, I couldn't think of the right word. I'm spacing out. Maybe that it was aliens. Apparently, there was possibly aliens on the moon.
Um,
Re-
Interesting, right?
man, I would love for there to be aliens on the moon.
I mean, they might have left a marker or something. Possible. Something for navigation purposes.
You know, I've always wondered that. I was looking up this, and again, which is crazy. I went through the rabbit hole, and I found a question, which was, why did we stop going to the moon?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that? I feel like at this point we'd have fucking 4K cameras up there. There'd be reality TV shows on the moon. Like, there'd be all sorts of shit. So, what do you think? Like,
Okay. Um, so before I give my opinion, I kind of want to hear Ben. I want to hear Ben's first.
Ooh. Yeah, I actually haven't done a whole lot of research into that kind of area. I have heard about certain compounds of hydrogen where it's just three hydrogen molecules, and that's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be a really good source of energy, very efficient and very clean, and it
okay.
only exists up there. It doesn't occur here naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I don't know what else there would be to do on the moon. It is a pretty
Barren,
desolate place.
desolate place. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So my thing about the moon. Okay, I've got a wild theory, and then I've got a skeptic's perspective,
Sure.
right? So my
Yeah.
skeptic's perspective is the moon is kind of what it is. It's basically a dead piece of rock that's basically fucking chipped off from an earlier collision from some time earlier in the universe, and
Hmm.
it never had the potentiality for life, right? Never had an atmosphere, never had fucking the ability, the chemistry, uh, the chemistry cocoon, if you will, in order to facilitate the kind of you know abiogenesis that would occur in the like soup, the early soup of evolution. But having said that, my wild theory is that the down the rabbit hole low technology show theory would be they found something when they went there,
Yeah.
and that something probably spooked them to where they were like, we're not going to come back for about 100 years until we're like we really know how to like maneuver in space, and if we got to fight
Yeah.
somebody and shit, because they probably, and this is just the wild theory, right? I have no evidence to back this up. I'm just trying to answer your question as to why we haven't gone back, which is They probably saw some shit they didn't really want to see. Even William Shatner said something the other day. He said when he went up there and he looked out away from the planet, he felt like a profound sense of sadness because everything he understood, everything that was like calling to him was here on this planet, which he would call home. And so maybe there was an existential dread that was faced when they got up there to where they were like, listen, you don't understand. It, this is all that there is. And maybe that's where they were like, okay, well, maybe we need like 100 years or some shit before we come back.
Of course, yeah. Like it's
But
like
I also think, here's the thing, from the skeptic's perspective, what if we went up there and actually saw that there was nothing there, and we were like, well, fuck it, it's not worth it going up there. It's just not cost
yeah,
effective. That's the most logical and practical explanation. But my wild eye shit is my tinfoil hat theory is that like they went up there, they were bouncing around, they saw something like kind of like glimmering in the dirt or in the soil, and they went and they started like kind of wiping it off, and it ended up being like a big ass piece of a fucking maybe a facility or a crashed ancient fucking ship or some shit like that, and they're like, oh shit, nah, dog. Like, we got to make sure A, no one knows about this. B, no one else comes back up here. But I think China is getting ready to launch a moon mission.
I've heard
that
that.
would
Yeah.
be.
Yeah, I think that's gonna happen.
They seem to be a little more into it than we are. I think I
Oh, with all due respect to us, we've been there before a bunch of times.
yeah.
You
We
know,
got some tender spam coming in.
we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the chat. How do we get rid of that?
Oh, I gotta do the old the joint.
We need
I gotta do the joint. The one move. Do the move. The gut and eyes move. What movie is that from?
God, I didn't even know spam pops up like that, bro.
What is
That's
it?
hilarious.
What's it like?
On our video,
What
there
is it
was
like?
like some
Ball
fucking
licking.
compressors.
What was it talking about?
That's
Ball licking.
hilarious, bro. No, it's $30 compressors at Sears or some shit. I'm gonna run down there and pick one up.
Wait,
That's
what?
Yeah, it showed up on our video feed, dude.
Really?
Yeah, that was interesting. These things are getting. We need Biddy and Jen to be
Moderators
admins
on
again.
here. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So we have to do all that stuff again.
yeah.
Yeah.
We got
Okay.
Tender Hot, best adult dating site. It's all right. We can read through them. It's no problem for now. Back to the moon thing, man. There's two things I want to talk about because
I like how you did that.
I have
Back to
my
the
theory.
moon thing.
Yeah, well, I don't want to get too like far
No,
off
you're
into the
good.
Tender ads.
Yeah. Oh, whoops. Sorry, guys.
So there's a theory that the moon is a satellite. Have you heard this theory?
Have I heard the movie? Yeah. Well, it is a satellite, but
Oh, this is for
Yeah.
your plugin. Okay, I thought that was an ad that popped up. That's hilarious.
oh, okay.
But there are Tender ads in our chat for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, that's still a thing.
Yeah.
So the basically that the moon is a satellite, and that in a lot of like ancient, like what do you call them, like scriptures or text, that the moon just appeared one day, that it wasn't always there, it just showed up, right? And that goes into this rabbit hole of whenever one of the space launches, I think it was like Apollo 11 or something. Was it 13, 11? It's one of the two. You guys can feel free to correct me. One of them crashed into the moon, and there was like a ringing sound for days, or like weeks, or something like that. as
Here
if
on
it
the
was, like,
planet?
metal. On the moon.
Oh, okay.
Like one of the spaceships crashed onto the moon, and there was a ringing sound like it was hollow inside, like it was metal.
So
and then
hollow
basically
moon
aliens
theory.
use it. Yeah, aliens use it to just watch us because it sees every part of the Earth.
Okay, I like this theory. It's the
Satellite,
it
yeah.
crosses with the human zoo hypothesis. You ever heard of
Yeah,
this?
it's the same thing. Yeah,
Is it the same thing?
similar.
Oh.
As in like the point of it is kind
Oh
of
yeah,
similar.
yeah. You're actually right. You're actually right. Yeah, you're actually right. Hollow moon, hollow earth. I as crazy and as I'm not going to say it's dumb, but just as illogical and as incompatible with observational evidence as it is, I'm still fascinated with like flat
Yeah.
earthers. I'm
Oh, I
still
know. That's we
fascinated with
talked
flat
about that.
earthers.
Yeah.
I just have such
What
a
is it?
hard time understanding what they are trying to like the people who believe it, not the people who don't. Like and I know we've had that argument too.
Yeah, their theories of nothing else are very entertaining to listen to, at
Well,
least.
it's the size of the sun that gets me. Because wouldn't the sun have to be really small if the Earth was flat? I think
Well,
that's what they
forget all
said or
that.
something.
Like how would day and night cycles work? Like
It would they wouldn't.
what
Yeah.
is the so the earth maybe okay, so if the earth is not a sphere, what what shape is the sun?
Okay.
And I'm not saying like I'm not being just overly dismissive. Yes, I don't believe that the Earth is flat or whatever they claim, but I'm trying to legitimately give the claim whatever benefit that it's worth giving. Just trying to understand what it is they're trying to claim. But even that is hard to understand because it's. Are you saying you don't believe in spheres? Is that what's going on?
Supposedly, they think all the other planets are spheres. It's just Earth that's flat.
The
From what
sun
I've
is a
heard.
cylinder. Hmm.
Eh,
Other planets are spheres, just not Earth, I guess. Is Tombstone still in here?
Um, it might be.
No.
I don't know. See, I wanted to
strange.
talk about this theory that you just because it's kind of goes along with the flat Earth
Go. Yeah,
theory.
yeah. You're good.
I gotta find something with it. So I was reading something yesterday, and this could be just fucking silly, um, but I heard that there's a theory that we're actually underwater, and that space is legitimately water. We've never actually been to space, but everything outside of our solar system, or not solar system, our atmosphere is actually water. What do you think about that? It's ridiculous,
So you're
but
saying that space is not a vacuum, it's fluidic?
it's water. It's fluid that you.
Yeah, so space is fluid. Okay. So Star Trek explored this concept, which I always thought was fascinating, right? Like one of the most fascinating mind fucks ever. Which is Species 8472 episode actually. Which is Voyager is sent to a realm of reality where space isn't space; it's fluid, right? Like you, wherever they are, it is a fluidic area in which you must traverse it, like you do ocean, as opposed to the vacuum of space, in which there's no atmosphere, right? No medium through which things can propagate, if you will. So the question would be: is the person claiming that we are in some sort of a pocket within the fluidic realm? Because I like this idea. It's fun to think about. Oh, we got to do something about these bots. I know how to do it. I know how to do it.
Uh-huh.
I know exactly what to do. I did it on the other one. On me other one.
Blast them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm seeing stuff basically called a liquid superfluid. So
Uh
it's called the superfluid vacuum theory,
huh.
basically. That space is actually a fluid instead of empty space, right? Um,
Right.
I'm trying to get to the meat of the theory, not just read pointless shit.
That's so strange. I don't understand how physics would
Well, if
that
you look,
defies a lot of it.
I think some of it comes from like if you look at like the SpaceX launches, like some of them, whenever they get to like right to the outside of the atmosphere, there's like a ripple almost that occurs.
Hmm.
So it kind of looks like it's like you throwing a rock into the top of a pond. It kind of ripples out. That sometimes when ships go through the atmosphere, that kind of a ripple occurs, and you can see it. So That's what it seems to, at least things like talk about. So
Technically, the atmosphere is a fluid.
Well, yes, that is. In fact, the medium of air is essentially a type of fluid.
yeah,
But we're talking about right the absence of that in a vacuum outside of an atmosphere.
exactly. Yeah.
So the standard form of existence in the universe at that point would be water or whatever fluid this is.
Right. In my opinion, it would be some variation, some inverse variation of that fluidic state, right? Because if vacuum is the kind of default area of this type of reality in this universe, and the exceptions to that vacuum are like pockets of matter that are inverse the vacuum, then in a fluidic space you would need the same type of inverse relationship.
So it would just be an air bubble?
Yeah, air bubble beings, bro.
Yeah, I guess so.
Air bubble beings.
Okay, I'm gathering information. I'm not ghosting you guys. I promise.
Oh no, you're good.
There's something about in 1967 we launched nukes into the atmosphere. You guys remember that?
I have heard this. Yes.
Yes.
So apparently we're the theory is that we were trying to see if we could crack this invisible barrier that's around the planet.
Oh, interesting. You think we tried to
Yeah.
fucking break through our prison?
Exactly.
And
So
we
I'm still
realized
like
that,
halfway
yeah.
through the video. Here I'm just getting some more.
How would dark matter fit in with all that fluidic space? That's a good question. I don't think it would.
Yeah.
In fact, I would argue that any of these cosmological ideas that come from these, non-standard model physics are probably going to just be their own weird hand wave type physics. It's like this happens because it does.
That's so
Yeah,
weird.
exactly.
That's why things like heaven never made sense to me. Like, what lights heaven? Is there a sun?
Yeah, exactly. What are the physics in heaven? Are there?
Yeah.
Is there photons? Is there light? Right?
My thing with heaven was always like, it doesn't even really sound fun.
No, it doesn't.
This sounds boring as shit. Like, let's be real. Like,
Yeah, it does.
Well, what's even crazier about how shitty it sounds is that like the religion that I grew up in, which was kind of type of Christianity, it was even worse than that because like you didn't even get to do the shit you wanted to do here on earth in heaven. Like that shit was still a sin up there, right? So it's like, wait a minute. Once I don't do all the shit I want to do here to get to heaven, you mean I can't do it when I'm there too? Even if I want to do it? Oh, this is whack. This is butt sauce.
I don't want to go stay with people for eternity that were just telling me not to do shit on Earth. Okay. Like,
DC
go
Vertigo
for it.
definition. DC Vertigo definition of heaven. You get to choose your own afterlife.
yeah. What's your version of heaven, Gray? If you had to choose,
Oof, that's tough.
that's a big question. But you have to do it for eternity.
Well, that's the problem. So this is why I believe that the simulation is possible.
Yeah.
To answer your question about what I think heaven would be,
For you,
for me,
if you had to design your own heaven.
how is that any different though? And I'm not saying this at you. I'm just asking this question rhetorically. How is that any different though than saying what type of just VR simulation do you want to be in? If you could be in a VR simulation,
It's not really.
right? But I would say something along the lines of I would have the ability to create realities myself and then stick myself in those realities and forget that I was the creator of those realities an infinite amount of times.
But what if that's what's happening right now?
It's probably is.
What if you already chose this heaven?
Or
But the only difference is that we all have that ability.
yeah, well, and that's the thing. I would think that it is not unique because no one inside the simulation is unique. Maybe it is we are all variations of the same personality type or same personality archetype. Like I am the creative or one creative aspect of this thing, whatever this thing is. You are one creative aspect, and everybody is just a particular aspect of that thing,
Yeah.
that archetype of personality. And so maybe there's a master personality archetype for the program, and everyone's kind of divided amongst equally randomly what those personality types would be. But the heaven part of that, heaven would imply like bliss and just joy forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And if that's what heaven is, then yes, I would choose that. But if it wasn't that, then I could just choose my own afterlife. If that's what you're asking, then yes, a Star Trek afterlife or an Extropy and Entropy afterlife would probably be.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean it's 1A 1B. I mean it's E&E or Star Trek. I mean I would love to be a Starfleet officer. No bullshit.
That would be sick. Do you know what I think about
Yeah.
occasionally?
What's up?
Like, what if life was just a multiplayer video game that you have like your close group of friends that are actually conscious and like beings, and then everyone else is an NPC, and
You
you
know?
just live life together.
And
Like,
you're like, "Hey, I'll find you in the game." Yeah, yeah, I'll find you, bro. Try
yeah,
to find me. And every because it's like you
like
do
some
this
No
so
Man's
many
Sky
times.
shit.
Yeah, think about it. Like you do this so many times that you don't even like try to like you don't try to cheat and drop hints so that you could find each other easily. You're actually willing
Yeah,
to go the whole lifetime without finding each other, and then at the end
yeah.
of it, you pull off your headset. You're like, "Bro, I couldn't even find you." It's like, "Yeah, man, I went to Japan for like 25 years. I met this girl, had a bunch of kids and shit, and ended up dying in a fucking fishing accident." It's like, really? Oh man, it's like
So good. That's a good movie, man. Let's be honest. Like, we could make a show out of that.
we probably could. Well, let's get
Netflix.
back in there. They get back in there and shit,
Oh,
looking for each
dude.
other.
Or it's just babies again, and it's like you go through the whole cycle of like
Yeah,
just to try to find each other to see if they can end up living lives together. That's crazy, dude.
totally, totally. Yeah, I've always had my reasoning be as to why a simulation would be necessary is for the reason you brought up earlier, which would be eternity.
Yeah.
Eternity is fucking terrifying, bro. It is way more terrifying than death. Like yes, death sucks. Dying is what really sucks. Death isn't really all that bad, but the dying part is usually pretty shitty. So,
Yeah.
but I can't think of anything more terrifying than that, other than living forever.
Yeah. That's a true like that in itself is hell.
And
Just
nothingness too.
not
Yeah.
being able to die. Like being a being that just exists forever.
In
That
the
sounds
void.
scary.
That sounds
Almost. Like,
terrifying. The dread of just looking out into darkness, or even, I think of the all white void, which is even more terrifying because it's so blinding. Think
did
about it.
I?
Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was
What were
gonna
you
say,
saying?
think about it. Like you just one day you just flash, you're there, all white. You look around, all white, everywhere, all white. You can't hear nothing, can't say nothing, can't see nothing, all white, forever.
Ugh.
What?
And then you gotta build, right?
No, you can't. There's nothing to build. There's nothing.
Oh,
The fact that you
the-
even see all white is not even accurate. I'm just using that as almost like an analogy to say, yeah,
anything, right?
exactly, like the
Not
void.
even space. Like just Batman's cave, kind of like Batman's lair. Not cave, his white room. You know what I'm talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. So,
Fucking programming room.
but it is one of those things I do think about that. So hopefully that answers your question about heaven.
Did I tell you that you're the reason I'm not afraid of death anymore?
Really?
Yeah.
What reason?
Yeah, when 5 years ago, I think when we met, I used to think about it pretty often. Like I wasn't, I'm not scared to die. I won't say that, but the thought of death always made me a little uncomfortable. Like when you think about the fact that we are finite, we
Right.
don't exist forever. All of us will die. There is no escaping it yet. Maybe in the future, who knows? I don't know, but regardless of that, I said that to you one day, and I said, how are you not afraid of dying? And you said, well, and you might remember what you said to me and be able to kind of fix it up. But you said something like, if anything, this is weird. You said, we've existed outside of this for 18 billion years, and you're scared of this little like 30-year part. It's like, if anything, this is weird, and that's what's normal.
Mm,
So I'm more comfortable with that than whatever this is. And
yeah.
that literally changed my thought process on all of it. I was like, you're right. Like, I didn't recall anything for the first 18 billion years that,
If
I guess our universe existed,
and
right?
that is if you accept that that's how old our universe actually is.
Yeah. That could be just
True.
this
You know,
universe, right?
right?
Like,
It will, yeah, and it could just be. So I am very suspicious of time.
yeah.
I'm very suspicious of time. Space, I'm a little bit more, concrete about as far as like, does space exist? Does the vacuum? Does the void? Does it? Is there a theater for the play? Is there a theater for the actors and the actresses? Yes, I do believe that
Is there an
exists.
audience?
Right.
I always wonder that. Yeah.
But I've always been suspicious of time. I've always been
Mhm.
suspicious of what eternity is and what it means to exist within it. Because to me, all of this shit is an aberration of eternity, which is another type of infinity. And
Yeah.
infinities are weird as fuck. They're absolutely
Yeah.
strange and they're incomprehensible to the finite mind, even if you understand that they're incomprehensible to the finite mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's fuck. I've heard things that kind of suggest that the way the universe was created from the Big Bang is not the first time it's happened. It collapses in on itself and then, rinse and repeat. It's a cycle.
Mm.
What's that thing that can happen at any moment that's like a reset of space and time, right? Like
False
some kind
vacuum?
of vacuum.
False
Yeah,
vacuum, yeah.
that you can let everything could just die immediately
Yeah.
all at once in any moment.
Yeah.
Like that's
What?
crazy.
I got a
Yeah.
crazier I got a crazier perspective than that, which is you talked about, everyone's going to die, no one can escape it. I believe we're already dead,
Yeah, it could
right?
be.
So, here's how I look at it. Time viewed from off of the off of the fly paper, you tend to look at things in a continuum, right? There is a continuous relationship from then to now to then again. But then and then are definably the same thing.
Hmm.
So I get into this thing where I wonder, like, what is time? And is it just there was so much time in eternity because eternity is so goddamn long that anything could have fucking happened and anything, which is the universe, did?
Ah, damn.
That reminds me of the way you're explaining it, looking at time from a fifth dimensional perspective instead of linear in a linear way.
Mm.
That just broke my brain, dude. I'm over here trying to process that shit still.
Yeah, actually, low key, same.
uh, I had this thing pop up, and it was like, what's something that your brain cannot physically comprehend? That is one of them. And B, this guy just said that the brain named itself the brain.
Interesting.
I was like, what the fuck? It's like, it
Well,
just made me think for a while, you know?
yeah, yeah. Um, Something that I can't comprehend other than infinity or eternity.
Yeah.
Oof. why is there something rather than nothing?
Exactly. I agree with that. That goes back into the stuff we've been talking about though, with like kind of the point of existence in general, right?
Yeah.
Like, why we're here. What are we doing here? Like the to bring up a subject upon that, like I think that people forget how fucking weird this is. Like I think about it every day.
Me too.
I wake up, I have these like tentacles coming off of my arms that I can like grab things with and like drink stuff. Well, that was a weird. I'm not gonna
No.
do that.
No, you're good.
I had a double like drinking.
Oh, that's hilarious.
was-
I didn't see
That was
that.
too much.
Yeah,
That
you
was a
can't.
large drink,
You
guys.
can't.
Okay.
You can't make
Let's be
fun
real.
of me no more, dog. You can't make fun of me no more.
You just saying fucking. Oh, dude, I won't bring it up. It's hilarious.
I had to wait
Yeah,
what 7 years for that. Oh,
Yeah, that was a fucked up. I just blowjob the drink on live stream. That's fine. Whatever. But no, seriously, like that we have these hands and that we're talking to each other like this, communicating over what seems to be fucking magic.
It
Like,
is
you know,
magic.
like people forget every day that how weird and how fucking special this is. And there's been like billions of years of evolution to bring us to this point in time. And then you see like on social media like what people are doing with their time. And it's like this is crazy.
You know what's
This is
crazy
so
to me is that I agree with you in kind of feeling like you're looking out from the inside of a machine.
Mhm.
Right? Like I
Dude, yeah.
sometimes when I'm driving, I'm looking out and I'm seeing these metal machines on these wheels, which a circle is a fundamental shape in nature, right? And they're traversing space and time with these fundamental shapes that have been manipulated into tools that they've now. It's weird, man, because there are times where I look out into that experience and I know something's off.
Yeah.
Something is not quite right.
Great.
It's not. It's absolutely not what I think it is, but it's also nothing I could possibly comprehend ever. If you gave me eternity in this form, I probably couldn't comprehend it. It is outside my scope of comprehension.
Yeah.
That is the sliver of a peak I could give it, because ultimately the more terrifying prospect is the alternate, right? Which is you catch a glimpse of some shit you're not really supposed to see. You know what infinity really looks like? Do you want to know?
I don't think you could. I think it would break you.
I think it would fuck
Yeah.
you up.
I think if a human literally was given the ability to like comprehend infinity, it would probably kill you.
Oh, it would kill you. It'd fuck you up. Yeah. You might you have a psychological break easy because it's too much information. And
Mental
then
illness
yeah,
immediately.
it is likely that you would never recover.
There's a lot of things that go and like tie into that. You know, like I've never told anybody this, but I'll tell you guys here because fuck it, right?
Love it.
I don't know if I've ever truly been used to my body. Like when I'll have certain I know that sounds weird. I'll have certain moments in life where like I'll look at my hands and they don't feel like mine. If that makes any sense.
That does make a
Yeah.
lot of sense, but I'll tell you
I-
my reason after you telling me yours.
No, it's just a little longer. You look in the mirror, it doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem like you. It sometimes legitimately feels like I'm inside of something experiencing this, like kind of putting on a VR headset, but I'm inside of this, thing. That's why I get tattoos. I don't, it's-
You know what's crazy? And then people will ask, well, why would you choose to have the perfect body every time? It's like, okay, here's why. I have clothes that I really, really, really like, right?
Yeah.
I have clothes I really like. You know my fucking Ducks jersey, right? Like my
course,
Ducks
yeah.
hoodie. Like it's my
that
prized.
thing's fucking. That's sick though.
It's my prized
So dope.
sports possession, right? Like it is the absolute favorite thing I love ever. You know how
Yeah.
often I wear that thing? Maybe like 4 times a year,
Yeah,
right?
almost never.
Yeah, almost never. Sometimes I'll get into a mode where I'm kind of wearing it, plopping around in it. But other than that, it's like, okay, I love it, but I also like a bummy Star Trek shirt. That's not. I'm not trying to equate people's bodies as being bummy Star Trek shirts. I'm just simply saying that, you know, the idea of you not wanting to try on different shapes and sizes, if you could, I would try on every shape and size I possibly could.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just be this size, this height, this weight, this gender. I would be every type of. But remember, it's eternity.
Yeah. You got
Yeah.
eventually you got to just be a humanoid cat, you know? Like,
Yeah, when people are like, well, why would you want to get eaten by a bear? It's better than the boredom of eternity.
yeah. Especially if you have to choose how you die a billion times or a, an infinite amount of times. Like,
Yeah, and I'm sure after you get eaten by that bear, you probably wake up and you're like, God damn it, that's probably the last time I get eaten by a fucking bear.
I don't like that.
I don't like that shit at all. Like, I'm never
that.
doing
Yeah.
that shit again. I'm not even going to be in a reality because it may be collected memories from a fallen civilization from years, like from many iterations of universes ago.
Yeah.
They've been keeping like a repository, a compendium of all of these species experiences, and we're just one of them. We're one of the, you know, okay, so maybe there was per universe only 12 civilizations that ever got to our level in the entire universe, right? I've heard the Drake equation number this low.
Yeah.
Yeah.
12. 13.7 billion years. Let's go out all the way to like the life of the universe, which is like 100 trillion years. 12.
Yeah.
What if you have eternity to produce as many universes as you want? Then 12 is a huge number because that means, you know, forgetting the fact that from our perspective this scale of time would be cosmologically ginormous, but every universe is just going to give you 12 iterations of different of these novelty producing machines like life, and as long as you can survive the transition between one universe to the next, then you fuck around and just can wait around for new novelty as these universes go out through their lifspan, and you just get, you know, you get 12 new civilizations memories. Every universe that goes by, you get 12 new species, and however long it takes you to go from one universe to the next, you have to be able to survive that, your sanity, because you don't have a choice. Remember, if you're eternal, you're not eternal by choice. You lost that choice a long time ago.
Yeah.
You're now eternal by force.
Yeah, you just simply are.
You simply are.
It's no different than living, right? I mean, some theories say that we do have a choice, though, that we choose to come into life and all that stuff. So maybe that's different.
Yeah, the Dolores Cannon perspective, which I would entertain because to me it's like if this is some sort of a simulatory sort of system, maybe it's not a direct technological simulation, but maybe it's some sort of a biological simulation. Yeah, something like that. You know, the idea of wanting to experience this as something outside of this, if that does exist, would be interesting.
It's like Carl Sagan said, we are the universe experiencing itself, basically.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah, I always like this version of that quote. It's not the same quote. He didn't say it. Somebody else said it, but which is the creation is the creator disassembled.
That's sick. Yeah. Just it to me it shows in a lot of different things. Like, you know, I know this is a stretch, but like evolution as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are this self-refining system that will die in certain ways and then later another way will just appear what seems out of nowhere that will prevent us from dying in that way as we move forward, right? So we're evolving. And it's like, are we just the players that are like collecting that data for the universe to evolve? Like, I don't know. Maybe that was an insane way to say that, but
Well, I think there's something that is transmitted through us that if you want to consider, how would you define us? Okay, if you say the human being is us,
yeah.
which is Homo sapien,
Yeah.
that means that let's say all the other types of human beings before us, you know, basically aren't that. And I feel like there is a certain definition to use when you're like, okay, us might only be from, the last ice age to now.
Yeah.
Maybe that before that, us isn't what we would define as us. Maybe that's a different being.
Yeah, yeah, I see what you mean.
That's
You see
true.
what I
Yeah.
mean? And
It's
so
yeah,
when we say like us, you, me in this environment, what if that those terms only make sense inside the environment? Outside the environment, for you to say like, "Hey, I'm my character in Star Citizen," like, but you're not. It would
Yeah.
sound weird for you to say that. Like walk around and be like, "Hi, I'm Mister My Character in Star Citizen." All right, bro. You want fries with that? Like, like seriously, like how weird would that be if you just walked up to somebody and be like, "Hi, I'm my character in Second Life. Nice to
Yeah.
meet you." Yeah, my character in Second Life, we like to just do this. It's like, huh?
Right.
You're not a regular person? So maybe whatever this experience is, it's like you you're not like I'm not Greydon Square. It's a character that I'm playing, and so when I am in the other whatever base level reality, whatever the bottom layer of reality is, and I introduce myself, I'm not like I'm Greydon Square or whatever I'm telling them. I'm whatever I am in that base reality. So if it so exists.
It's when you find out that your best friend was a fucking beetle in a past life or something,
Yeah,
Like Alexander the Great.
yeah.
yeah, it's almost like you would figure out that you have done everything, have been everything, have experienced everything so many times that you try to get excited about things that would excite normal people to like crazy pleasure. You would tell a person like, "What if you could be a perfect body, rich as fuck, be good at everything?" And that person has been that so many times, it almost makes them nauseous.
They're just like,
They're
I
just
don't
like,
want
oh fuck, bro. I don't even want to
to.
think
To me.
about that. Last time, like this happened, and oh my god, last time it's like, bro, I just want to be a normal person. Just give me some
Yeah.
normal shit. Give me like a fucking foot cancer, and I don't graduate from high school and shit. And I'd slap my boss in my 30s and get a charge or some shit. I'm a junkie from my 40s on to my 50s, like some regular shit. Like I would argue that there's just as much novelty in that experience as there is in the other. And if you have all
Oh,
of
absolutely.
eternity, then that's what you're looking at. That's the experience. One of the experiences you're going to be looking at. Just like that bear eating thing that I'm obsessed with.
Of course. Yeah, Jen said some think we have to live a lifetime as everything. Rich, poor, sick, male, female before we can advance to another stage. Feel about that.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Heard that one before, yeah.
I've heard the you have to get it right before you move on thing. I haven't heard you have to be
Me too.
everything
Yeah.
before. I mean, that's a unique twist on that. I'm not saying it's any more out there than what I said. I've never heard it put that way, but I have heard the you have to figure some shit out before you move on to the next stage of whatever reality is.
Yeah. I've heard, even going further into that deja vu is actually because you've done it before and your paths cross and it's you trying to get it right another time. So you've lived the same life multiple times trying to get it right, basically.
I heard a crazy deja vu theory, bro. That's fucking stupid.
What's that?
You want to hear this crazy shit? This is down the rabbit hole
Yeah.
shit.
I do.
Okay.
I got 15 minutes left. Just
Okay. Okay. Awesome. So this is good. So I heard basically that deja vu. Okay, so that time like universes fluctuate. And in the space in which they fluctuate, the timelines, there are different timelines. There's a bunch of different timelines that kind of run concurrent. And they fluctuate. And like people argue that the origin of the Big Bang is two universes like colliding, well, that can happen in time. But when they don't collide and they get close as fuck, people from one timeline can see paths of a different timeline, or not see, but see echoes, because the timelines are fluctuating so close to each other that you can, your whatever your essence that transcends that is, whatever that is, can see or experience to a certain degree what happened in that other timeline, even if it's a. So it's not like you've actually experienced that. I used to think that about deja vu. It's like, I've done this before. Actually, I
Yeah.
think you're experiencing something maybe you probably did in another timeline, or you're seeing or experiencing something like that. That's how I would rabbit hole that.
Yeah, that actually plays into another one that I've heard, which is just like that, where your path of life is matching up with an alternate version of yours, and you're both doing the same thing. So because it's two versions of yourself doing the same thing, it kind of like connects, and you feel like you've done this before, but really you're just matching up with a different universe's perspective of yourself, basically.
Mm.
Same shit,
Well, that's
literally the
pretty
same
cool.
thing. Yeah,
Oh, I
it's a
got
cool.
one.
That's a cool one too.
I got one. Existential Hunger Games. What if you isn't the only you, but you have to compete? So you and your other yous compete, and whoever has the better lives, like, you have to go back in, but one of you guys gets eliminated.
Damn.
Okay,
So
yeah.
it's like,
From existence.
yeah, from existence.
That's the prize, isn't it?
Yeah, and the quote unquote heaven is being the. This is kind of like the plot behind the one, except you're not going around killing yourself, but
Yeah.
you would basically, every time you come through the simulator or through the life, the universe life experience simulator, you would basically be competing with all these other versions of you, and if you have the shittiest life, you're fucked. You don't, when you die, you don't wake up. So death could be real. Like when you're living a pretty good life and you're surrounded by your kids, and you know you're an old man, and it's like, yeah, man, I lived a great life. You know you're getting you get to come back and do it again. But if you like fuck up and you're just a complete shitbag and you're in prison because you fucked some shit up, and you're like, oh man, you're really dreading that shit because this could be your last life. Somebody could easily have a worse life than you. They could be a fucking bad paperwork motherfucker or Hitler. Okay, got you. But it's so hard to be that shitty. So think about how, it doesn't take much to be average. Like, to just be okay and not shit on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a slave owner.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Or life could just be some big waiting room that we think that we have to stay in, but it's actually like much better after we die. It's just like a lobby, you know?
yeah. And if you've ever been in a fucking Call of Duty lobby or a Battlefield lobby or any video game lobby, you know that is not fun. PUBG, goddamn, you know, World of Warcraft, I guess.
They're all bad, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That you don't. I mute everyone every time.
Same here. Yes, exactly.
With what?
I just mute everybody. That's my go-to, like, proximity chat is like none at all.
Oh, I
Like,
see what you're saying. Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to, try the PUBG proximity chat because like you could hear people talking and shit. But then people get crazy with the shit that start saying all kind of wild shit to you. Like, all right, bro.
Mhm.
But
So
what's up?
what was that?
Oh no, you got a couple minutes. Go ahead.
Well, there was one thing that I wanted to talk about specifically today before we left.
Yeah.
You guys have heard this theory that a lot of like celebrities that are ultra famous have died at some point, and they've been cloned and like robotically replaced, basically, like androids, right? Have you heard this theory that this
I
is
have.
So the theory is that important people have been replaced by androids.
like androids, basically? Yeah,
Okay.
like
Like who?
AI. Big one, like Eminem is one of them. People think that Eminem has been cloned and replaced because his music changed, he changed, all sorts of shit. That during the whole like pre-recovery stage, he actually died of an overdose, and they replaced him with like a replacement Eminem, basically.
Okay, I could believe the replacement Eminem thing. I don't know about the whole he's an android. Tombstone says all lobbies are shitty. That's a sticker right there. All
Tombstone.
lobbies are shitty. That is the greatest statement ever.
That's a bumper sticker.
That is
yeah.
a bumper sticker right there, Forrest Gump style.
Well, so that kind of brings me to my next point.
Mhm.
So, did you guys see this Katy Perry thing? I don't really care about her as an artist. As a person, I'm sure she's fine. But she was performing live on stage like recently, and her eyes, like I don't know if any of you in the chat saw this, but her eyes started doing some weird shit, bro. Like shit I've never seen before. Like they were just like flapping up and down, like left and right. One of them was like getting closed and stuck and like flapping, and then she keeps pushing the side of her temple, and they're like correcting and like stopping and like, and then she just like pushes it hard enough and they stop flapping, and then she just moves on and she's like, now give a special thanks to my band. It was the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Like I'm gonna be
It's
real.
weird.
It was super fucking weird. Like unnatural. It didn't seem like it was fake. It was like unnatural as fuck, dude. It was scary.
That sounds interesting
Ooh,
enough to look into.
It was really weird, bro. I swear to God.
Yeah, yeah. Next time I want to talk about like fucking haunted shit.
Oh, 100%. Paranormal, like scary shit. Like not even paranormal, but
Well,
like,
I don't know about if haunted means scary for me, but like it is a
but
fun
like
rabbit hole to go down
ghosts
to.
and
Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, like
spirits. Yeah,
yep.
absolutely. Yeah, dude, definitely got to look at that video of those eyes flapping. Though that shit was weird, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
Strange.
All right, guys. So we're gonna get on out of here, but I appreciate you guys following us over. You know, we had a couple of technical difficulties earlier on the just moving from one YouTube account to the other, but looks like we're gonna try to build this one out and make sure we can do streams on here for some low technology, kind of rabbit hole type shit. These are the type of subjects that we're gonna talk about on here because I don't really talk about that stuff on my own channel. You know, so if you guys are interested in this and like this and that sort of stuff, go ahead and hit that like button, hit the subscribe notification. We appreciate that. You guys got any final words?
Um, Next time I'll have lights, so I'm not so dark.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Other than that, no. I think I'm good to go, man.
Ben?
Doing good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just shout out to all the podcasts in the GU network. Go ahead, Safa.
Do have one thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone in here needs to go to their social media right after this and share Type 4 with all of their friends. Please and thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I was actually going to give a shout out to all the podcasts and the different projects going on in the Grand Unified community as we start this new one. You got the Black Culture Geeks show with Tombstone, Adequate, and SPJ. Excuse me. You have the Gray and Gold podcast with myself and Arcade Gold. You have now the Low Technology show, myself, Ben, and Sci-Fi. You know, we have the Majestic Musings with myself and Tombstone, and we're just gonna keep pushing content. So if you guys keep supporting us, we'll keep doing stuff. I mean, this is my full-time job, so for me, I love doing this stuff. I will be in the Discord if anybody's looking for me, but other than that, you guys got anything else?
Good to go.
All right.
Peace.
Peace. We'll see you guys later next week.